San Francisco's main library is only 3 years old, and they already need a $28 million overhaul. Manuel Ramos looked into the reasons why.
Librarians have noticed that when people first visit San Francisco's new main library, they are in awe of it. Then something disturbing happens.
And then what we sometimes find is, as they begin to try to use the building as a functioning public library, it becomes a little complicated. But they're always in awe of the structure when they first see it.
A city-ordered report of the library says the first 2 floors are confusing. From one entrance, you have to go down 1 floor to get up to the top 3. And once you're up there, books and materials have to be requested because they are in storage. The building's open space field didn't leave enough room to put the books out in the open. According to the report, it would take $28 million to make it user-friendly. Who's to blame for this?
I don't know that there's anybody to blame for it.
Steve Coulter was president of the Library Commission when the plans were approved. He says to keep in mind that the library was built during a recessionary period. Budget problems forced eliminating a floor that would have solved space problems. He doubts $28 million will be needed to fix it.
Are we going to move the center for the sight impaired? No, the Library Commission is not going to do that. And I don't think this architect that did this study thought that through. I think that was a really dumb suggestion. And there are several other things in there that are equally dumb.
But he liked other suggestions like making room for more books by moving the city's archives into a nearby building. Meanwhile, taxpayers don't seem anxious to spend any more on the $130 million building.
I think it's a beautiful library. I'm very happy with it, and I don't really know if it needs to be renovated at this point.
It's become a popular tourist spot. 6,000 people a day find their way here. It's just a little tough finding a book sometimes. And in this city, style often beats out substance. I'm Manuel Ramos in San Francisco.
The Library Commission will have to review the report and decide what should be done. Right now, the city only has $3 million in the budget to renovate the library.
San Francisco's new main library in the Civic Center near City Hall costs more than $100 million and has won a lot of praise for its appearance. But a new study says it has some serious flaws that will cost millions more to correct. Roth has our report.
By all accounts, San Francisco's main library is an architectural marvel. It's bright, airy, and unique. But a new study by a team of architects, engineers, and librarians found that what the library isn't is easy to use.
If you haven't been here a lot, then you don't know your way around. It's going to be a problem, you have to ask somebody.
The library is less than 4 years old and cost $137 million to build. But the report says to make the library as functional as it is beautiful, it would cost another $28 million.
We do know that individuals have difficulty sometimes navigating their way around the building and figuring out how they get from the first floor, the second floor, up to the other floors in the building. We've experienced that now, and I think we'd like to make the building more customer friendly.
I think it's a great success story. The building is beautiful. People love it. 2 million people a year coming through it. I hear nothing but praise for the building. I think it's user-friendly. Can we make it friendlier? Yes, absolutely.
To make it friendlier, the report suggests connecting one side of the second floor with the other. Now, to get from one end to the other, you have to walk around the building. The report also suggests knocking down walls on 3 of the 5 floors to allow the public access to the shelves of books behind the walls. Currently, a customer must ask a librarian to bring out a book from these areas. And the report says there's not enough shelf space to house all the reading material, pointing out that the atrium uses up much of the space. It suggests keeping the atrium, but reconfiguring the floors to make room. Library officials say the original design called for an additional floor that was cut out of the plan because of the cost. Library workers say when the original design was being drawn, many of their suggestions were ignored.
What we have here is a beautiful piece of civic architecture, and I think that was one of the premier goals of this project, and they accomplished that.
The Library Commission will next have to study the report and decide what it can afford and what steps to take, if any. In San Francisco, Roth for the 10 o'clock news.